Hello and welcome to No Sevens Dice Club College Football Week 14. This is it, guys. This is the last week of college football, and I just realized I have Week 13. Hold on one second. One little technical, slight little error. As you guys can see on the board for all my craps players that are tuning into this who also follow me for my craps games, you can see the strategies that I try to put together for you guys. This is how often I tested all the numbers that are on the field. That's how often I test the numbers. I test out a strategy before I put it on YouTube. It goes through about 9 different dice rolls to see how it performs and goes from there. So we are on week 14. Thank you for tuning in. To all my subscribers, all my non-subscribers, welcome to the channel also. And week 13 was a rough week for No Sevens Dice Club. For all the people that were betting with me, I'm sorry for letting you guys down. It was a brutal week. Ohio State looked like a normal team from what all the announcers were saying and everything else, all the hype about Ohio State. They just look like another normal team. Chase Young, phenomenal player. Definitely see him going top in the draft board, but you got to hand it to Penn State. They put a heck of a game together, and they were able to compete all 4 quarters. Well, almost all 4 quarters. It wasn't until the second half that they put that game together. But anyway, let's focus on week 14. So last week we did not do too good. We went 1 win, 3 losses. This is only my second losing week all season. So I want to be very clear. I had a ton of views last week. For everybody that's tuning in this week, that was only my second losing season all week. So my record is 21 wins, 10 loss, and 1 push. So let's go ahead and get this week started. We're not focusing on week 13. That's over and done with. Let's try to make some money on week 14 because I lost some money on week 13 also. So let's see how we do on week 14. All right, first game is a Friday game. So make sure you get this pick in early because it is a Friday game. If you don't want to pick this game, if you want to do a different game, that's totally cool. But this is what I'm going to go with. Missouri is -12 at Arkansas. They're playing at Arkansas. As you guys saw, Arkansas scored a couple points on LSU in garbage time. Still a really good team. Trying to finish out the season strong. It's a dumpster fire. They don't have any really in-state talent a lot in there, and they got to go to other states to recruit. So the next coach has got a very uphill battle about to recruit in Arkansas and surrounding areas. Missouri is -12. At one point in time, Missouri was competing for the SEC East. At one point in time, very early in the season, they were competing. But Missouri is -12. They have a great explosive offense. Pretty good defense, too. Arkansas, I don't even think they're even really going to be in this game that much. It's a senior game. The seniors are going to play really tough. But I already think that they already got 1 foot out the locker room door, and they're just already thinking about the off season. So with this, Missouri is bowl eligible. So I think Missouri is going to go ahead. They're going to compete in this game. They're going to play really hard, and I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to try to compete to win this game and to play for a bigger bowl. So I'm going to take Missouri -12. And let me write that down. -12. So, and then the next game we are going to talk about is the Texas A&M LSU game. For anybody who watched last year's game, you will know how pissed off LSU is about that game. It was the most points scored ever in college football history, I believe, or in FBS history. It was a total of, I think, Texas A&M scored 77. LSU scored 70 points in that game in 7 overtimes. In fact, the game was so many overtimes, so much. It was a 5-hour, 10-minute game. It was so long that Joe Burrow, the one who's pretty much going to be the front runner for the Heisman for the LSU quarterback, he literally he blacked out in the locker room after the game, and they had to start giving him IVs. So it was a lot of players almost were on the brink of collapse and dehydration and some serious health risk after that game. So they had to change the whole entire overtime rules so that way nobody ever faced something like that again. But we already saw that later on this year. We had a game go into 6 overtimes. I forgot what team it was, but I remember seeing that on the highlights. So LSU thought they won that game. If you go back and look at the tape, LSU clearly won that game in a couple of different times. Texas A&M thinks differently. Obviously, the refs who officiated that game thought differently also. So LSU did not forget about this. Ed Orgeron has made a statement this week. He says we never forgot about what happened to us during the Texas A&M game last year. It cost Ed Orgeron $200,000 because if he would have won that game, that would have been his 10th win for the season, and it probably would have bumped him up into a higher bowl game too. But he still played for the Fiesta Bowl. But it cost him $200,000 along with the rest of his assistants also lost money in that game. It was the first time Texas A&M ever won against LSU. They never won against LSU since they came into the SEC, which was back in 2012. LSU is going to come in here. Guns are going to be blazing. They're not looking past Texas A&M thinking about Georgia. They got a score to settle with Texas A&M, and this is going to be a very, very, very physical football game. This is going to be remnants of how they played in the first half against Alabama. And I don't even think that they're even going to give them a chance to come back like they have a lot of teams in the second half. I think they're going to keep the foot on the gas pedal, and I would not be surprised to see LSU score at least 70 points in this game. They're going to keep the foot all the way on that gas pedal. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to come out of that game no matter what the score is. He wants something to prove his last year. LSU's minus 16. I'm going to take LSU minus 16 in this game. I think LSU is going to go in there and just totally dominate this game because everybody remembers how bad that taste was after losing the way they lost in Texas A&M. So we're going to take LSU minus 16. All righty. Let's see. And I remember that game. I watched it. I couldn't believe it. I was ready for the game to be over. I remember it starting at 6 o'clock, and I remember it did not end until almost midnight. It was a very, very long game. All right, the next game is North Carolina minus 7 at NC State. North Carolina is the team that took Clemson all the way to the brink. If poor coaching decision to go for it, instead of tying up the game and putting Clemson on the track to recover, Mac Brown went ahead and he decided to do the 2-point conversion with a minute left of the game. He should have just went in there and just tied the game, and he had all the momentum in that game. He should have just went ahead in there and just kicked the extra point, tied up the game. As we all know, NC State, or if you guys haven't been following NC State, that's another dumpster fire. That's another Arkansas team. They can't even get out their own way. They got some serious problems. Mac Brown's got this game turned around at North Carolina. He's recruiting heavy. He's building a good thing over in ACC over in North Carolina. I think North Carolina, this is an in-state rival game. All these games are pretty much in-state rivals. I really do believe North Carolina is going to handle business. I don't think minus 7 points is going to be a problem. In fact, I would not be surprised to see this game actually inch up, probably closer to North Carolina minus 10 by Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take North Carolina at NC State. We're going to do North Carolina minus 7. And hold on one second. And one thing too is that this is going to be good for North Carolina also because they're trying to build up those recruits and trying to steal some away from Clemson too. So This is going to be a pretty signature win if he can do this. So we're going to take North Carolina -7. And the last game is Florida State at Florida. All right, is that in view for you guys? I need to bring it over. I need to bring it over. All right, so the last game we're going to talk about is, well, for the Week 14, we still got a dark horse to talk about in our bully picks. But for Florida State at Florida, Florida's -18. Florida dominates every stat on this board, offense and defense. Florida's got the third best defense in the SEC. Number 1 is Georgia. Number 2 is Auburn. Number 3 is Florida. I think Alabama is number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Number 5 or number 6. Anyway, Florida State, as you know, that their head coach was fired. Willie Taggart is no longer the head coach. Another. I'm not going to say a dumpster fire. They're not that far off. Florida State can turn this around. They did it early enough to go ahead and start going after key coaches that they're looking at and stuff. They have a great talent pool at Florida State, still left over from Jimbo Fisher. Even though it wasn't much when he left, they still have a couple of 5-star recruits. You still got Cam Akers as a running back over there, who actually committed to LSU, and he said he wanted to go play for top-notch university. So he decommitted from LSU. He was supposed to be, I think, the number 1 running back in the nation at the time, and he decommitted from LSU, and he was playing. Now he's at Florida State. He's from Mississippi. So Cam, I wonder how it feels to be playing for a top-notch university, considering that you don't even have a head coach anymore, and that LSU is number 1. So I hope you like to eat your words with a little bit of salt and pepper. Because you should have played, you should have stayed at least with, if you didn't want to commit to LSU, you should have committed to Mississippi or Mississippi State. But I don't need to keep on ranting on. Let's talk about Florida State and Florida. Florida's got Trask. Trask is really coming along. I think Florida's going to dominate this game from start to end. I don't even think Florida State's really even going to get past the 50-yard line. So I really look at Florida being able to cover this 18 points. If this game goes above 21 points, I'll be kind of leery on picking this game. I will want to stay. The 18 is going to be close. I think the score is probably going to be closer to probably like Florida State around 7 or 10. Florida's probably going to have about 30. So just keep an eye on where that point spread goes. Because I think Florida's going to have about 30 to 35 points. Florida's probably going to have about 10 to 14, 7 to 14 points, somewhere around there. So I'm going to say about 10 points. So I'm going to take Florida in the early going. I'm going to take them at -18. If this goes up to 21 points, I probably won't even pick this game, because right then and there, that'll be a coin toss. So right now, as -18, I'm going to take Florida -18. And then let's talk about our bully picks. Actually, let's talk about something else. Let's go ahead and let's go ruffle up the feathers in Alabama real quick. So we're going to take Florida -18. Let me mark this down. And since I have a lot of passionate Alabama fans, let's go ahead and ruffle their cage up a little bit. Let's talk about the Alabama at Auburn game. All right. This game, if you remember, if you go back a couple weeks ago when Auburn played LSU, it was a very close game. Auburn lost that game by 3 points. Special teams was a big factor for Auburn in that game. LSU's special teams were deplorable in that game. That's how Auburn was able to keep that game really close with special teams. Once again, I think Auburn's special teams is going to play a huge factor in this game. Alabama's special teams, as you could see when they were playing LSU, that they had a lot of missed components. Auburn's special teams is one of their unsung heroes in their team. Not only is their defense really good, but their special teams is very good. So I expect their special teams to also make a couple key plays. If you remember a couple of years back when they had the kick six, I think it might be something like this at the end of the game. Don't be surprised to see another kick six or something like that. If you haven't seen it, Google it on YouTube. Look at the kick six. It was probably the best thing ever. If you're an Auburn fan, Alabama fan, I'm sorry to bring it back up, but hey, look, it happened to happen. You can thank Nick Saban for that one. Anyway, I told you that if Auburn played, when Auburn played LSU, that dominant defense, you know, with Brown and I can't think of the other guy's name. His name's number 3. It's like DJ something. I'm sorry, Auburn fans. I can't remember his name. Another great dominant player on that defensive line. Auburn has the number 2 defense in the SEC. As we all know, Tua is out of this game. He's not going to be back. More than likely, he's going to go to the pros. I wish him lots of luck, lots of success in the pros. Alabama is only -4 points. I think this is the lowest I've ever seen an Alabama at Auburn, the Iron Bowl, ever in the Nick Saban era. I don't think I've ever seen one lower than that, except for, wait, I take that back. The one when Cam Newton was playing, I think was actually, I think Auburn was favored in that game. I think that was it. But I think this is the lowest one I've ever seen where Alabama was favored by -4 points. Other than that, I think the one with Cam Newton, when he was with Auburn, I think that one was actually plus for Auburn. But I think this is the lowest one for Alabama. With this, I told you that if Auburn plays a dominant defense, they're going to beat Alabama. So for my dark horse team, and I'm already going to receive the hate mails, and I'm well prepared for it. In fact, I might even just turn off my email list from all the Alabama fans after what happened to me during the LSU game, and I received 35 emails from the Alabama fans. I'm well prepared for this, but I'm going to take Auburn in my dark horse +4. Go ahead and send me the hate mail because I know it's coming, Alabama fans, and I'm just calling it like it is. I'm just going with Auburn because I think Auburn's is gonna be able to cover that point spread. In fact, I even think this is really just a coin flip at this time. But do not be surprised that this actually turns into a little bit more of a spread at the end of the week. But I think that I think Auburn is going to come in, and they're going to come in to play this. If this was at Alabama, it might be a little bit of a different scenario. I might pick Alabama, but this one is played at Auburn. Auburn's a very hard place to play. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Auburn +4 as my dark horse. So that is it. And then our bully picks. We're going to review our bully picks. And then like I explained to you before how I do my bully picks. And I'll show you again real quick. Let's see. Are we on the board? Yep. Okay. So we have... our bully picks is Florida. This is money line bets. Money line bets. I receive emails all the time about my bully picks. It's money line bets. We don't do point spreads. I get asked every single week by a couple of viewers, you don't have point spreads because they're money line picks. And then for our bully picks, we add one of these teams or whoever you like. You know, it doesn't have to be one of my 4 teams. It could be whoever you want. If you want the Michigan-Ohio State game, you can put whoever you want on there with the point spread. You want to take one of your teams, whatever team you like, whatever team you think is going to win, you're going to put that over here underneath Missouri. So that way you can actually kind of almost double and triple your amount of money that you put in. So if you put in $100, if you put in like Texas A&M and LSU over here, you're actually going to make another $100. So you're going to make $200. So you're going to win $100. You're going to put in 100. You're going to actually make 100. It's usually how it works. But anyway, our bully picks are Florida, LSU, North Carolina, Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, Utah, and Missouri. Those are my bully picks. You don't have to take all of them, but I like these to win this week. That's the teams I'm going with. And I know the North Carolina and the Missouri game, they're going to be kind of risky, but they're also going to give me a little bit more of an edge because of that risk, because they're not slam dunk winners. They're actually going to be pretty close games. With the Missouri, that's the reason why the point spread is like it is on -12 and -7. But those are going to be my bully picks. Alrighty, guys. And our record right now for the year is 21 wins, 10 losses, and 1 push from the LSU game back with Ole Miss. All right, and then don't forget, we are also doing our Amazon $50 gift card. You have to be a subscriber to No Sevens Dice Club. And then we're going to go over the bowl picks once when the championship games are over with in 2 weeks. And then we're going to go over there and we're going to figure out who we're going to go with and go from there. So the deadline for the $50 gift card is December 18th, and I'm going to go over that more when we get to all the college bowl games. And you have to be a subscriber, and then you're going to email me your bowl picks at no7sdiceclub@gmail.com. And that pretty much covers it. This is the final week of college football. Next week is the conference championships. So I wish you guys lots of luck. Have a great Thanksgiving. We have some good games on Thanksgiving. We have a great lineup on Friday and an even better lineup on Saturday. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe so that way you can be a part of the $50 Amazon gift card. Totally free. I'm doing it for you guys. And I think that's pretty much it. Email me if you have any questions. I always answer questions. I answer comments. If you have a comment, if you think that a team's going to do better, send me a link below. I have no problem talking about football games. I like talking to you guys. I like to get your insights, see what you guys think. And I'll always comment to you. I had people, who were telling me that they picked for week 13. They were right. I commented to them and I told them, good job. Way to pick the winners. Obviously, I didn't do a good job for week 13, but I commented to them. I said, great job. Way to pick the games. But that's week 14, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great Thanksgiving. And I'll see you for week 15 for No Sevens college football championship conferences. All right. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.